Games Workshop have finally confirmed it after all the speculation, after all the rumors, after the back and forth. We've just got a brand new article today featuring the last and the latest book in the Siege of Terra series, Era of Ruin. Let's jump in, let's look at the article, let's read it, because there's some interesting things here, and also the art for it is absolutely gorgeous. So let's get waffling. So let's jump over to this window as we always do. The shockwaves of the Siege of Terra are felt in a bumper epilogue anthology. It says, after many grueling battles, the Siege of Terra is over, and with it, the Horus Heresy is concluded. Finally, which means maybe in February, next month, we could get a big announcement of the Scouring series. I'll go into that later on in the video. The Emperor is victorious, the War Master vanquished, but at what cost to the Imperium? While the climactic battle may be over, the story is not finished, and the next Siege of Terra book from the Black Library is Era of Ruin, an anthology featuring stories set both during and after the greatest internal conflict the Imperium has ever known. And this is the art for it now. It looks great. Those are like the gates towards the Golden Throne themselves. It's like some iconic piece of art. There's like warhounds and titans guarded it and stuff. It looks amazing. It looks absolutely fantastic. You can see all the authors: Dan Abnett, Aaron Dembski Bowden, John French, Guy Haler, Nick Kime, Gav Thorpe, and Chris Raitt, some of the big hitters, a part of the series, all coming back for some short stories, which again we'll discuss in a second. It says, on a particular note, the cover features a brand new art of the Eternity Gate flanked by two Warhound Titans, which we've already gone through. This is where Sanguinius stood, right, with his spear, ready to take on the entire traitor force themselves. Of course, there's going to be a limited edition. Now, this is the limited edition that was supposedly found in a charity shop and was posted online in a Facebook group for Black Library, and everyone was going mad about it. People saying, no, this is definitely fake. How can you come across this in a charity shop? And there was just so much debate about it. There was like, is it real? Is it not real? I always took it as real, to be fair with you. I think the story itself was made up, but the book was definitely real. And this is now, of course, going to be the last big book of that series. Now let's jump in and let's look at some of those stories, because these are big hints now to potentially where they're going to go with some of these stories. So this is the apparent content. These are the apparent stories that are going to be present inside this anthology. You've got Angels of Another Age by John French. I'm not sure what that is going to cover. Maybe it's basically like directing it towards the actual Astartes themselves. They were made for the Great Crusade and Crusading. Now that time is over and there's another age upon them, the Scouring, all the stuff that happens after that, you know, that is an angel for another age. We've got The Fulgrimite by Nick Kime, and Nick Kime, of course, always writes about salamanders and Vulcan, so I think this one is definitely dedicated to Vulcan. We all know that he was on Terra. He was there during the Siege of Terra. He was at the Golden Throne, the Webway and stuff like that, so maybe that is a follow-on to that. Fragments, All We Have Left by Dan Abnett. Absolutely no idea where they can go with this one. Maybe it's something to do with Old Person and John Grammaticus, and maybe some Alpha Legion shenanigans that were left over from the Siege of Terra. Maybe something to do with that. Ex Libris by John French. I think that's got to do with the Imperial Fist, maybe, because Dawn locked Horus Imperial Fist up in the Phalanx and like put them away because of the orders of Nicaea and stuff like that. So maybe it could be something to do with that. Again, I'd love to get your theories on this as well while I'm just rabbling on. System Purge by Gav Thorpe. I'm sure that's going to be doing with purging the actual soul system of all traitor forces, everything that's left over, because even though Horus has been defeated and been destroyed, there's still loads of traitors in the Sol system around Terra itself, and it's all going to be about probably like the Loyalist forces hitting back out from Terra and pushing them back out the Sol system, eventually all the way to the Eye itself. After Dawn, The Darkness by Guy Haler. Absolutely no idea. Maybe something to do with the Emperor being put on the Golden Throne, you know, after the Dawn, the darkness of the Emperor, like, just not speaking anymore, not communicating, maybe something like that. Homebound by Chris Raitt. Chris Raitt has been known to write a lot of White Scar stuff. I would put this maybe towards the White Scars, but then again, it could be to the Dark Angels as well. Dark Angels, the Lionel Johnson going towards Caliban, and we all know what happened at the events of Caliban with the Lion, and The Carrying Lord of the Imperium by Aaron Dembski Bowden. maybe that is probably going to be about the Emperor. To be fair, he is the carrying lord of the Imperium right now, so it is going to be about the Emperor. But in what context? Is it going to be from the Emperor's like weird type of view? Is it going to be people looking at the Emperor now on the Golden Throne, Valdor himself? Like, there's so many topics we could talk about with this, but I'm absolutely so excited to jump into this now, get this book, and break it all down, do some spoiler videos of it and stuff like that, as we normally do on this channel. I'm excited. I love the Siege of Terror series. I wish they would announce this way back, but, you know, it is what it is at this moment in time. We've got it now. It's been announced, and that now opens the big door for a potential another big announcement at the Black Library event, which is supposed to be happening in February. And those announcements could be the next big book series for Warhammer 40,000. There's two options that are on the table for me. One is Pandemonium by Dan Abnett. It's the third book in the Beckwin series, which we've all been talking about for years now. We all want to see this big conclusion. What's the Yellow King? Is he the person who we think the Yellow King is? Of course, no spoilers during this video. For me, I think now that Era of Ruin has been announced, I think the next big logical step is to announce the Scouring series. The Scouring series, for the people who don't know, is basically the Imperium coming together and pushing the traitors back into the Eye of Terror. There's a lot of big events that happen during the Scouring series. You have Gilliman reforming the legions into chapters, writing the Codex Astartes. That caused a lot of friction with some Primarchs, especially Dawn. You have certain events like, I don't know, the Iron Cage, which, you know, potentially could be a big one for the Imperial Fist. There's a lot of propaganda around that, a lot of chaos propaganda. I'm not going to go into it, but I think that's a logical step for them to go into now. And from what I've been hearing for the Whispers of the Warp, is that the first couple of books have been completed for the Scouring series. No idea how long it's going to be. Hopefully not as long as the Horus Heresy series, because I think it was at like, what, 60 plus books, and that was before the Siege of Terror series actually came into play. Logically, I'm probably looking around maybe 10 to 20 books during the Scouring series, covering some of the main big points. Maybe each legion, each chapter, or some of the big chapters get some representation. Maybe, like, you know, the second founding chapters with Sigismund and the Black Templars being founded and them doing their Eternal Crusade, stuff like that. But I'm excited now. I'm excited for February. Hopefully big things are coming. We know the Dawn of Fire series is coming to an end, so there's definitely has to be something announced at the Black Library event for 40k/30k. So I am excited for it. Anyway, thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. If you've got any thoughts, feedback, anything like that, post it down below, and we'll have a nice little chin waffle down there, as we always do. See ya. Have a great day, and bye-bye.